Welcome to voters, Brother Brown here. A new format is just around the corner, and you know what that means? A brand new pre-release guide, this time for the BT12 format. I know a lot of you guys found the last one very helpful for BT11, so I figured why not just run it back. We have a lot of ground to cover today, so let's not waste any of you guys' time and let's just jump right into it. So we're going to start off with, in my opinion, what I think is the best tamer you could potentially pull, and that's going to be Taguri. So the nice thing about Taguri is he's a memory setter, so that's going to prevent you from getting choked, which is always very nice, especially in a sealed format. And the nice thing with Taguri, as well as all the other hunter tamers that you can potentially pull, is going to be his secondary effect. So when one of your Digimon would digivolve into a Digimon card with save in its card text, by suspending this tamer and placing one card from underneath your tamers underneath as the bottom evolution source, you can reduce that evolution cost by 1. Now these will stack with other tamers that you have, so the nice thing about this is you can build up stacks really quickly, really cheap. So I will swear by it. I think this is the way you're going to want to build for your pre-release. You're going to want to pull a good ratio of all these different tamers moving forward. Next up, we have Taiki, and the nice thing about Taiki, his first effect is start a main phase by placing one Digimon card with save in its card text. From this tamer, you can draw one card. So helps you cycle and has the same secondary effect as I said before with that Taguri has. Old Clock Shopman is a little different. So he doesn't have that effect where you suspend to reduce evolutions. Instead, he has an on play. You can reveal the top 3 cards to your deck. Then you can add one Digimon with save in its text and one card with hunters. The nice thing about the hunters is all your tamers that you want to search do have hunter as their traits. So you'll be able to get your hunters to your hand, which is really nice. And he has a secondary effect which might not come up too often, but once in a while it could come up. So if you have 4 or more tamers in play, you can suspend this guy to give one of your Digimon with save in its card text security +1. So help you get a little bit of aggression. Might not come up too much, but still a very good bonus nonetheless. We'll take it. Next up is Eru. So she has the effect of by placing one Digimon with save in its card text underneath this tamer, you can give one of your opponent's Digimon -2000 DP. -2000 is not a lot, but there are a lot of effects in this set that minus DP. So this can potentially stack with other effects and help you just board wipe so many other cards. Really nice. Iruma has the effect if you have 2 or less cards underneath this tamer, you can place one card with save underneath its card text from your trash underneath this tamer. So help you do a little bit of recursion. It's really nice. So next up we have is Yu. So Yu has the effect at the start of your main phase by placing one Digimon with save in its card text from this underneath this tamer, you gain a memory. Even one memory goes a long way, so you already can tell this is a fantastic card. Then last but not least for the hunter tamers, we have Ren. And Ren has the effect by placing a Digimon with save, you can give one of your Digimon 2000 DP for the turn. So extra damage you can't go wrong with. The next couple of tamers that we have here are just kind of in case you don't pull a memory setter, there's actually 2 other options you could potentially get. So if you don't get the Taguri, you could potentially get a Takuya. Again, he's a rare, so all the memory setters are rare. But literally the only reason he'd play him is to be a memory setter. His Digivolution effect's never going to come up because you're never going to play hybrid. Unless you feel like going that route, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it. But yes, he's a memory setter. Then we have Takato, which again, memory setter, the secondary effect, you can ignore it. It's never going to come up. And that's the only reason you're going to play it. So that does it for the tamers. We're going to move on to the level 3s. So starting off, we got Shoutmon. So Shoutmon, on top of having save, which of course is the star of the show here, he has a great inheritable. If this Digimon has save in its card text, when attacking, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. So most rookies, they're going to have 4000 DP or less. So you're going to be able to clear off those small bodies, help you do some board control. Quite nice. So moving on, we're going to go to Gumdramon. So the nice thing about Gumdramon is he has Digicross added to him. And unlike before with other Digicross Digimon in the past where you needed a specific material, all this guy needs to reduce his play cost is going to be a Digimon with save in its card text. So that's almost everything you could possibly imagine in this set. So you're going to likely have the materials in your hand to reduce it by 2. So he has the effect on play by placing one card with save in its traits in your hand underneath one of your tamers. You draw one card. That's always great. And then he has when attacking, if this Digimon has save in its card text, draw a card. So lots of draw power with this guy. So moving on to Psychmon. Psychmon has the same Digicross conditions as the Gumdramon. So you're just going to need to have a save Digimon in hand to reduce by 2. And he has the effect on play. You may add one Digimon card with save in its card text from underneath one of your tamers. So reuse those Digimon that were deleted and saved underneath. You can reuse them again. Quite nice. And then of course on deletion save. We got Chumon next. In addition to having save, he gives you an inheritable to give your Digimon with save blocker. Blocker, as we all know, is always very useful in these sealed formats. Being able to stop yourself from getting hit for lethal is always going to help, and it's going to potentially be the matter of you winning a set or losing a set. Next up we have is Dracomon. Dracmon has the effect on play by revealing up to 3 tamers from your hand and placing them at the bottom of your deck in any order. You can draw one card for each card placed. I don't think this effect will be coming up too much. It's not something you really want to do, is put your tamers at the bottom of the deck. Sometimes it can come up. You might want to cycle through your deck a little bit, but I would personally want them in hand. However, what's nice about him is he does also have the Digicross, the same as the previous other 2 cards I mentioned, and he has the inheritable of giving your saved Digimon 2k DP. So help build up a more beefier stack. Next is Zenimon. Nice thing about Zenimon is he's very cheap cost at 2. So you can able to build wide and be able to just potentially swarm and go for lethal a little bit easier. Plus he also has save in his text, so works with everything else. Next up, we got Ikakimon. So Ikakimon, the nice thing about him is when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has save in its card text, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP. So this pairs very nice with the yellow Hunter's Tamer. So you can stack those to help reduce DP a little bit more. It's really nice. Next up, Pillowmon. Again, cheap rookie. You can't go wrong with that. So that's going to do it for the level 3s. So moving on to the level 4s, we have Shoutmon King version. This guy is really, really good. So he has Digicross 2. Again, all you need is just a save Digimon. Not hard to do. And he has the effect of on play or when Digivolving, you may place one Taiki, Uemano, or Taguri from your hand without paying the memory cost. Getting a free tamer is insane. Insane. And then he has the effect of, as his inheritable, when attacking once per turn, if the Digimon has save in its card text, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 4000 DP. So exact same as the rookie Shoutmon, but this is a little bit better because you get a little extra for it. So it's really nice. And being level 4 and being able to play that super cheap is, again, gonna help you build up to your big stacks a lot easier. So definitely a card to look out for when you're opening your packs. We got the Yazemon, and again, Digicross -2, so you can play this out for 3 by Digicrossing. And on play, you can play one of your Erus, Ren, or Ryumas from your hand without paying its memory cost. So the same thing as Shoutmon, but for the other 3 tamers. So again, great. And he has the inheritable of getting extra 2000 DP, so the same as Dracmon. So I went from a better version of the Shoutmon to a better version of the Dracmon. Then we have Daemon, which Daemon has the effect, on play or when digivolving, you can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can play one Taiki, Yu, or Taguri among them without paying the memory cost and place the rest at the bottom of the deck. So while the other ones were playing from the hand, these guys can play from the top of the deck, so it's really nice. Again, Digicost +2, -2, so you can play this for 3. And he has the inheritable, he gives one of the Digimon he has underneath, blocker, as long as it has save. So, quite nice. Then we have the Gainmon, and nice thing about Gainmon is he's going to give your Digimon reboot. It doesn't have to be save, that's something to note, so if you're built up to one of your bigger stacks and you don't have a save underneath it, it's still going to get the reboot. Also, he's really cheap at 4 cost to hard play, so it's not bad to just drop him out if you have the memory to spare to be able to build up a little quicker. Turomon. Turomon has the effect of when digivolving, you can de-digivolve by 1 of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon, but for every 2 Digivolution cards this Digimon has, you can add an extra 1 maximum level. So you can pretty easily digivolve a level 6. It's not too difficult to build that up, especially because you can digivolve him for a 1 cost on a level 4. So you could potentially even just use this as a way to just build up and potentially dig for stuff. So really nice. And same as Daemon, he gives your save Digimon blocker as an inheritable. Geckomon, again, cheap level 4 to play at 4 costs is nice. And he has inheritable on opponent's turn. When one of your opponent's Digimon attacks, you can trash the bottom evolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. It's not the most powerfulest inheritable, but it can come up and potentially get rid of those sources that maybe giving your opponent very powerful inheritables is always quite nice. Yakimon is next. This is the cheapest level 4 you can potentially play at a 3 cost, and it has blocker. This is a really good early game plan to do. It's just hard play this for 3 and be able to either just sit on it or be able to build up really quickly. It is quite nice. So definitely something to look out for. Potatomon, you're really playing this guy because he is a 1 Evo Digivolution. So just a cheap evolution. I don't think you're ever gonna really want to hard play this guy for 6 because 6 is kind of expensive for a level 4, in my opinion. Restordramon. Restordраmon's very nice. If this Digimon has 2 or more Digivolution cards, it gains Rush. So the nice little combo you can do is, if you're at 3, you have a memory setter, and you have one of those tamers out, you can Digicross into, say, a Gumdramon, and then you can Digivolve into this guy next, using one of those Hunter Tamers to reduce the cost by 1. So for 3 memory, you basically have free damage with Rush, which is super, super nice. And he has the on deletion save, where you can place one of your Digimon cards from your trash with save. This is the nice thing about this, is he can also do any other card that's from your trash, which is nice about a Restordramon that's not with the other ones, where it has to be itself. He can grab anything from your trash. So that's really nice. And has the same inheritable as Gumdramon. When attacking, if it has save, draw a card. Now we got, in my opinion, the best level 4 that you could possibly get, and that is Clockmon. And what makes Clockmon so great, not only does he have blocker, which is always fantastic, he has the effect on play, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add up to 2 Digimon cards with save in its card text with different colors among their hand. As well as having save on his on deletion, he also has the inheritable, while this Digimon has save in its card text, it gains jamming. So there are a lot of different colored Digimon with save. You're very likely to have this card go off. It's super nice. And keep in mind too, normally you wouldn't be able to Digivolve this thing onto anything because it is just a white Digimon, but because of the way the rules are for pre-release, it doesn't matter. You can Digivolve this for anything. So a cheap level 4 to play on top of that, you can't go wrong. It's great. If you get it, play it. It is a rare. It's a little harder to grab, but definitely play it. Opossumon, and this is very similar to the Daemon. It can Digicross for 2, so you can play this out for 3 cost. And he has the effect of when Digivolving, you reveal top 3 cards of your deck, and you can play one Eru, Ren, or Ryuma without paying the memory cost. So just getting out those tamers, cheating them out, always great. And it has the when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has save in its card text, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k DP. So again, these just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. You can get rid of big stacks really easy. And as we all know, DP reduction is probably the best way to remove Digimon. Then I put Micamon on here. Micamon's not a bad card. It's cheap to play first off, and it also has a decent inheritable. When this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, gain one memory. The nice thing about it is it doesn't have to be save or anything like that. There are a few cards that work really well. There's some cards that have raid where they can proc. There's a couple of the bigger stacks where this can come up, but not a bad card. Something you consider playing if you do end up running into it. So let's move on to level 5s now. We have Betsumon starting off. Nice thing about Betsumon is he's a 6 cross the hard play, so that's fairly cheap for a level 5. And he also has save and is inheritable plus 1000 DP. Not the greatest, but Footmon. He's cheap to evolve at only a 2 cost and pretty beefy at 9k. Next we have Metal Greymon. At 4 cost, you might be thinking that's a little pricey for a level 5, but once you read his effect, I think you'll understand why we put him on the list. So he has Raid, and if you're not familiar with what Raid does, this allows you to switch your attack target to your opponent's highest DP unsuspended Digimon. So it's a way to get rid of a potential big stack, and if you have some way to boost them up, it's gonna really help. But not only that, it also has the ability of when a Digimon's attack target is switched, so either by its own raid or if your opponent decides to block, you can play one black or red tamer card from your hand of a 4 or less cost without paying the memory cost. So this is really good if you have, say, the U in your hand or the Taiki. You can just play those out for free. Super nice. Plus it has a bonus effect if you are playing the War Greymon or any of the top end Greymons for that matter. It gives it piercing, and piercing is always nice. Definitely give him a shot. So following that, we're gonna go with Jokermon. You're never gonna get a cheaper level 5 than this. It's only a 5 cost to hard play. This is gonna make building up to those level 6s so much more easier. Now moving on, we have Astramon. This card is gonna be really, really nice if you do get lucky and pull the Quartzmon, which I will go over later in the video. But he has the effect of when Digivolving, you may place one level 4 or lower card with save in its text from the bottom of your tamers without paying the memory cost. So you can get any level 4 or lower from your tamers just out for free. Super, super nice. And if this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Quartzmon in your hand or under your tamers. So if you do place it from your tamers, you can just play it out. Reduce the Digivolution cost by 3 instead. So this turbos out Quartzmon, and Quartzmon is an insane card. He's also pretty easy to turbo out himself, also the Astramon, I should say, because you can evolve him from your rookie Psychmon at a play cost of 5. So that is quite nice. And he has the same inheritable as the Psychmon, where if you attack and it has save, draw a card. So moving on to the final form of Arrestermon Superior Mode. So the nice thing about him is when Digivolving, you can place one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon underneath one of their other Digimon or underneath their tamer as a source. And for each tamer you have in play with a different color, you can increase that max level by 1. This is some of the best removal you ever look for. I think it's pretty common, I think, in this format that you're gonna have at the very least 1 to 2. So being able to get rid of those champions, those ultimates, you're not gonna find any better removal than this. He also has a very nice end of turn effect. If this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards underneath, this Digimon can attack without suspending. So this works at the end of the turn, so it's basically Blitz. So this could potentially be a game ender for you. Very powerful boss monster you can go for. And he also has the same inheritable as the other Gumdramon line. When attacking, it has save, draw 1. Very powerful card. Is a super rare though, so have to get a little bit lucky if you pull it. Now we got Omni Shoutmon. So he has the effect of when Digivolving, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon with a total DP that adds up to 4,000 or less and delete them. But for every 2 evolutions you have underneath this card, add an extra 3,000 DP to the max. If you're doing the evolution reduction effects, it's very easy to really stack up these evolutions, and you could potentially be popping up to maybe even 10k. This can get really, really crazy really quick. And if that wasn't good enough, you also have his your turn effect. While this Digimon has 4 more Digivolution cards, this guy gets security attack +1. So a lot of added regression you can get with him. And of course, just like the other Shoutmon line, when attacking, it has save. You can delete 1 Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. So moving away from the save Digimon, we have up next War Growlmon. So War Growlmon has a very similar effect to the Omni Shoutmon. So when Digivolving, you can delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect though, you can Digivolve into a level 6 Digimon with Gallopmon its name, and if you do, it's reduced by 1. So Gallopmon in this set is very powerful, so if you do pull it, this could be a really good option for you to go for. However, this guy is a rare, so if I'd have to choose between the War Growlmon and the Omni Shoutmon, I think I'd go with the Omni Shoutmon 9 times out of 10, but he is a good option, and he has a nice inheritable, so the end of attack, once per turn, if your opponent has no Digimon in play, and this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallopmon in its name, you gain 2 memory. So you can essentially make your Gallopmon for almost free if you proc that inheritable. Gokuamon, he's a really good defensive tool that you can add to your deck. So when you would play this card from your hand, if your opponent has a Digimon with security attack, reduce this Digimon's play cost by 3. He's 6 cost to play, so playing a level 5 for a 3 is insane. You get a insane amount of value for that. There are a few Digimon that do have the security attack keyword. Not a whole lot, but it definitely can come up, especially when you're looking at the higher level 6s. A lot of them do have that added keyword. Not to mention, he does have a nice inheritable. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gains minus security attack. So this can help you again, longevity, survivability, and this is really nice to put underneath some of your other saved Digimon. Then to wrap up the level 5s finally, we have Chu Hakaimon. When Digivolving, for every 2 Digivolution cards this Digimon has, activate the following effect. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. So that's for every 2 evolutions. So again, they stack. The more you have, the more you can reduce. But the nice thing about her is when an opponent's Digimon is deleted by dropping to 0 DP, you draw a card. This is also not once per turn. So if you're proccing multiple, you can get a lot of draws off her. And then she also has the effect similar to a lot of the other yellow save Digimon. If this Digimon has save in its card text, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k DP. Alright, now to the bosses of the set. Kicking things off with War Greymon. So War Greymon has Raid. We already discussed, Raid's a fantastic tool for removal. And he also has the effect of, when Digivolving, this Digimon gets 3,000 DP and reboot until the end of the turn. So this thing ends up coming out to 15k. That is really strong. I believe there's only one other thing in the set that can potentially rival it. So once you get this guy out, he's not going down to anything. And then he has a nice all turns effect. When a Digimon's attack target is switched, you can unsuspend this Digimon. So you could potentially go in, clear something, and potentially go for some extra damage if you have the memory to spare. It is 4 memory, but very powerful. Grand Kawagamon, nice thing about him is he's only a rare, So unlike the super rares, which are a little harder to pull, you might have a little easier time pulling this for one of your bosses. So when digivolving, you may suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then this Digimon may attack your opponent's Digimon. So basically, it's Blitz. It's just you have to attack your opponent's Digimon. And this also really combos really well with the Micmon that we talked about earlier, because you can potentially gain that memory. It may even be potentially continue a turn by doing it, so it's quite nice. And if that wasn't good enough, you also have your once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, gain a memory. So if you have the Micmon plus you use this effect, this guy's only costing you 2 for a level 6. Then we have the Emperor Greymon. He has security attack +1, so checking multiple securities, going for game quick. And then he has the effect, when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Removal, a good chunk of the level 5s are 6k. Anything below that is pretty much guaranteed to be below 6k. So you're going to be deleting something with this effect. I wouldn't pay too much attention to the next part of his effect. It's all based on if you have a red tamer underneath the sources, which chances are you're probably not. So the only thing relevant here is secure +1 and deletes a Digimon with 6k DP. It is nice, it is worth running if you don't pull anything else, but it's also a super rare, so it's a little tougher to get. Then of course, in my opinion, the best boss you want to get to, and that's going to be Gallantmon. You pull this, I'm telling you, you are set for this event. So he has Raid, always a great tool, but not only that, he has when digivolving, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP. So already, it's basically Emperor Greymon's effect. But if that wasn't enough, he also has when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP. So you can potentially clear 3 bodies just off this guy, off summoning this guy. But if that wasn't enough, they even added more to this card. So if no Digimon is deleted by this effect, you just trash the top card of your opponent's security. That's insane. You get this guy, you can just control the board for days. They won't be able to leave almost any body on board or it's gonna get taken out. They kind of have to just sit in raising and kind of just wait and hope they can build something to answer it. I'm telling you, it could be potentially a done deal. And then for a potential budget option, in case you don't pull any super rares, level 6s, we have Lampmon here. Lampmon's not too bad. So when digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus security 1. So again, can potentially help you survive. That's always nice. And then he also has the effect of your turn, for each Digimon your opponent controls that have security attack +1, you get security attack +1. So if they have the Emperor Greymon out, for instance, or maybe they have the Shoutmon with the extra security attack, this guy can potentially get some more checks for you. So not bad at all. So now wrapping up the Digimon, we have, of course, the biggest Digimon you could potentially get, Quartzmon. He is a level 7, which you might think is absolutely crazy to even consider playing, especially being a super rare. But this guy's effect is so bonkers, you would be nuts not to try it. So he has the effect of, you can digivolve this guy for 9 from a level 5 with save. So you can even cheat this guy out, which is really cool. So when digivolving, suspend all Digimon except this one, and suspend all tamers. Then you gain 1 memory for every 2 suspended Digimon and or tamer in play. So this guy could be even cheaper than what you expect depending on what the board state's looking like. But not only that, all turns, all Digimon except this one and all the tamers can't unsuspend. So you get this guy out and you can just lock an entire board. It's insane. It also has, when attacking, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Then for every 5 suspended Digimon or Tamer in play, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So this thing has everything you want. It has stun. It's probably the most craziest floodgate. I'll even say probably the craziest floodgate I think this game's ever even printed. It's so crazy. Getting it out, especially on a big established board, you can just win games with it. And not only that, it's just such a hard body to answer to. it has 15k, so nothing in the set can really beat over it. Not even a boosted War Greymon, which is crazy. One of the only outs to this, and a good reason to probably run it, is that Terwagamon that we talked about before, be able to de-digivolve this, it's one of the only ways to deal with it. But yeah, this card is crazy. So moving on to the options. So starting off, we have Overflowing Power. The nice thing about Overflowing Power is, if you have a tamer with hunters in its traits in play, you can use this card without meeting its color requirements. Now, even though we're in pre-release format, we still have to abide to the color rule when it comes to options. But if you have a tamer with hunters in its traits, you don't have to worry about that with this card. So what does it do? Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon card with save in its traits card text under one of your tamers for its Digivolution cost. So this just lets you potentially recycle something that's already in your tamer that you already used. It's for 0, so you're not paying anything to use it, just whatever you have to pay for what the Digimon you're digivolving into, but it can be a very powerful card, so something you might want to try. Next up, we have one of the better removal options. We have Pyro Dragon. So it has the effect, do on your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less. Not bad. Then the secondary effect could come in handy, especially if you're going to use the Emperor Grey. Then you may give one of your Digimon with hybrid in its trait an extra 3000 DP for the turn, and it attacks your opponent. So not too bad. And it could be a really good security bomb as well for deleting something with 6000 DP. It's also really cheap at 4 costs. It's a nice little tool for removal. Now, finally, to end things off, we're gonna go with what my favorite option is in the set. That's gonna be Home Run Blast. So it has the same effect as Overflow, where you don't need to follow the color requirements as long as you have a tamer with hunters. And you're able to have one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 4000 DP for the turn. Then if you have a Digimon with 4 or more Digivolution cards in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus a security tag. So you could potentially delete something with this, as well as keep something from attacking you. Is really good. And plus, for the value you get this all at, it's only 2 cost. You're getting such a huge value with it. It also activates Insecurity, so that could be really nice to potentially keep you from dying. And yeah, you're just never gonna see an option do this much for so little. So definitely something to try. Well guys, that's gonna do it for this guide. I know there might be a few cards that you thought maybe should have been in here that I didn't include, but that's the beauty about pre-release, is we get to open up our fresh 6 packs, look at the cards we get, and build a deck with different strategies and different cards that we won't normally play. So the best thing about pre-release is just having fun. Now, we're not done here. There's a part 2, so stay tuned for that. But as always, this is gonna be it for this video. So if you liked it, please hit that like button, spread the good word by sharing the video, and become a fellow devotee today by subscribing. Until next time.